Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Sumo fans! I'm Vinny and this is Sumo Files. And today I'll make a quick review of Onosato's victorious road from the moment he became a Yokozuna to his title as the Basho. So without further ado, let's dive into this great story. Onosato's journey as a Yokozuna began with immense anticipation. After winning the May 2025 tournament with a spectacular 14-1 record, the 24-year-old was promoted to the highest ranking sumo, and the excitement immediately surrounded his rise. It was the first time in more than 4 years that two Yokozuna stood side by side, and Onosato's age only added to the sense of promise. But there was another factor that made his promotion even more significant: his nationality. 7 of the last 10 Yokozuna had been foreigners, including the reigning Hoshoryu. For the Japanese fans, seeing a homegrown Rikishi reach the top again carried a powerful patriotic meaning, especially since Onosato had already claimed 4 Emperor's Cups before his elevation. Yet, his debut as a Yokozuna did not go according to plan. Onosato gave up 4 Kimboshi, finishing tied for runner-up with 4 others. The disappointment was clear, and the Sumo Association's chairman Hakaku publicly criticized him for his lackluster performance. Some felt the remarks were too harsh, like me for example, while others agreed, but what truly mattered was Onosato's own response. Dissatisfied with himself, he pushed through with an intense summer Jungyo, determined to return stronger. And when the September tournament began, that determination was evident. The first 3 days went smoothly, as Onosato defeated Nishiki, then veteran Tamawashi, one of the men who had beaten him in July, and afterwards Abi. But on day 4 came the setback, a dramatic loss to Hakuoho. It was a sting, not only because of the reversal itself, but because the Isegahama prospect had already defeated him in the previous Basho. Doubts began to creep in. Would the young Yokozuna stumble again? The answer came swiftly the very next day, when Onosato rallied to overcome Oho, another of his past tormentors. Meanwhile, Hoshoryu was tearing through the field with flawless precision. The Tatsunami Yokozuna looked effortless, moving lightly on the dohyo, drawing wide praise for his style. His unbeaten streak placed even greater pressure on Onosato, but the Nishonoseki star responded the only way he knew how, by leaving everything on the dohyo. The main improvement in his style compared to the previous tournament is that he now had a much clearer view of the dohyo, knowing exactly how far he could go to make a bold move or recompose himself to counterattack. And that made a big difference. Match after match, he toppled his opponents with technique and sheer power, determined to capture his first Yusho as a Yokozuna. The race was heating up, with both champions pushing each other to the limit, though Hoshoryu consistently kept himself a step ahead on the leaderboard. The turning point came on day 12. After defeating Sekiwaki Kirishima, Onosato watched from the sidelines as Nishiki broke Hoshoryu's undefeated run. It was a fascinating twist, especially given the triangle between the 3 men. Onosato has historically struggled against Hoshoryu, but Hoshoryu cannot overcome Nishiki, and Nishiki cannot defeat Onosato. Like a game of rock, paper, scissors, their fortunes intertwined. The drama only grew deeper the next day, when Ozeki Kotozakura also toppled Hoshoryu, and Onosato, by beating Wakata Kakage, suddenly surged into the sole lead. Tensions spiked. Would Kotozakura halt the new leader when they clashed on day 14, or would Onosato begin to break away? The question vanished when Kotozakura withdrew due to a right knee injury, giving the Yokozuna a free win. That development pushed Hoshoryu to desperation. Facing elimination from the title race, he resorted to a Henka, one of Sumo's most controversial tactics. The move may have worked in short term, but it drew immediate outrage from fans, who were simply not happy that a Yokozuna resorted to such tactic. Still, the result meant something extraordinary. The Yusho would be decided in a direct showdown between 2 Yokozuna, a scenario unseen since Hakuho and Kakuryu in March 2020. The tension was electric as the final day arrived. On their first bout, Hoshoryu defeated Onosato in regulation, sending the championship to a playoff. something that has not happened between Yokozuna in 16 years. And given Onosato's poor record against his rival, many assumed Hoshoryu would seize momentum and finish the job. But that was not what happened. The playoff bout was explosive, with both Rikishi tumbling out together. A mono-e was called, and the outcome came down to the dead body rule. Onosato's foot was still touching the floor inside the dohyo, while Hoshoryu's body was already airborne. The verdict? Victory for Onosato Daiki. With that, he secured his first Yusho as a Yokozuna, and the 5th Emperor's Cup of his career. This victory clearly meant a lot for Onosato, and the new champion expressed his feelings with humility during the interview. This is your first championship since reaching the rank of Yokozuna. How do you feel right now? I had a tough experience last tournament, and I trained hard not wanting to go through that again. I'm happy that I was able to win the championship in my second tournament here today. You faced this Basho after a Maegashira's victory in July, and entered the final day in sole possession of the lead. You didn't have a match yesterday. How did you prepare yourself mentally? Well, when I returned to the stable, my stable master advised me to just take it calmly. The main bout wasn't so calm though, but I focused on being calm for the championship playoff, so I was able to secure the win. It was, without a doubt, an unforgettable conclusion to a spectacular tournament. For Onosato, it marks the first shining chapter of his Yokozuna legacy, and for sumo fans everywhere, it was a moment of history to cherish. And with this, I want to thank all of you for following the journey with me. Also, stay tuned, very soon I'll bring a special video on the Sansho Prize winners. But anyway, that's all for today. So if you enjoyed this video, consider liking it, subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss any future content. That's it guys, until next time!